Hey y'all, this is Dan with the Southern Paddler channel, and today I'm talking about my favorite trail, being water trail, creek, river, you get the idea. So I was nominated by Brad Moore of Mountains and More, formerly Teardrop Tripping Brad Moore. Check them out if you hadn't done that yet. Great channel, and he nominated me to do for the My Favorite Trail challenge. And he was doing this as part of, I think, a challenge started maybe by Crow. That's the Crow Flies hiking. Had the privilege and honor of doing trips with both of those guys. One trip had both Brad and Crow on it. Had a great time. So yeah, several guys are kind of talking about their favorite trails, and so Brad nominated me. Thank you, Brad. And I enjoyed watching Brad's. And I'm going to talk about mine today. You know, I like what Brad did. I'm going to have a hard time, and I'll just tell you right now, narrowing it down to one favorite. I don't know that I do have one favorite, but I'm going to do kind of like Brad, and I'm going to start with probably my most frequented, which is what I'm on right now, and that's Flint Creek in the Wheeler National Wildlife Refuge here in Decatur. My #1 launch spot is Osprey Point, which is right off Highway 67, and that's my most frequented because largely because it's the closest to my house. It's only 15 minutes from my house, so that plays a big role in it. But not only is it convenient, I love this place. Absolutely love it. Every time I come out here, it's just amazing. And so to have this place this close to home and to be able to get away from the city and the noise and all the stuff. Now, you know, to be completely honest, on the refuge here in Decatur, you're probably never going to get completely away from the road noise. You know, but I'm in a spot now. I've had to paddle about 20 minutes to get away from the highway, but now it's peaceful, quiet, serene. You might hear a distant noise, airplane, motorcycle, truck, something. But you know, to be this close to home and just to be able to get out here and get away from all the noise and the hustle and the bustle, it's just I mean, I consider myself incredibly blessed to have this place this close by to my home, to be able to get on it as quickly and as easily as I do. And I'm so thankful that I can do it as often as I do. I've jokingly had people say things, comment on pictures and stuff like, man, I want your job, and man, you just must go every day. And, well, I've got a normal 8 to 5 job, you know, Monday through Friday. Now I do have a little flexibility in my hours, and there might be a few days that I take off you know, sneak out a little early, but pretty much, you know, 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. But again, because it's so close and so convenient, I can be out here so easily and so quickly. You know, this is a Friday afternoon. I came out after work, you know, on this Friday afternoon, and not because it is a Friday, not because tomorrow's a weekend, but just because I wanted to do this today. Tuesday of this week, my brother and I, Alabama Floats, we got out and paddled. He fished Tuesday afternoon of a week. We've done several. It's very common for us to get out during the week. Just say, hey, let's just go hit the water here. And there's a number of places we can access here in Decatur that's close by. So, and that's a great blessing. So, definitely one of my favorites and most frequented is Flint Creek at the Wheeler National Wildlife Refuge here in Decatur, Alabama, launching from Osprey Point. Now, I mentioned earlier I was going to have a hard time with this, my all-time favorite, and I am. And I don't really have one, to be honest. But I do have a couple that I'm going to mention. First of all, the first one I have to mention is the Buffalo River in Tennessee, around Waynesboro, Tennessee. That was the first place that I canoed. It was also the first place that I kayaked. And up there on that river is where I fell in love with this sport, and where I knew that this was, you know, this was my thing. This was what I wanted to do. I still didn't really act on that and do this till later in my adult life, but it was on the Buffalo River near Waynesboro, Tennessee, where I fell in love with the sport. And last year, I actually got to go back and do 2 different trips with a Crazy Horse Canoe Rental there in Waynesboro. Did videos on both of those trips, and one of those I talked at length about what a special place Buffalo River was, because it was where I got my first exposure to paddle sports, to canoeing and kayaking, and where I fell in love with it. So those videos talk about how special that place is to me, the Buffalo River in Tennessee. Another place that's special, I've only done it one time, and I'm dying to go back, but you got to get it just right when the water level's just right. But that's the Sipsey River in Bankhead. You know, anytime you're in Bankhead, I've hiked there and paddled there. It's an amazing place. The Bankhead National Forest and the Sipsey Wilderness within Bankhead, both of those just absolutely incredible places. And last year, my friend Scott and Virginia invited me to tag along with them as they did the Sipsey River in Bankhead, and just an incredible trip, about a 10-mile trip. And again, it's a small, you know, river, about like not much more than a creek really, but it's you have to get it just right when there's enough water. You know, in the summertime it dries up too much and you can't paddle it, but in the spring, when you get enough rain and the water level's just right, you can paddle through there. Just absolutely beautiful and remote. Man, you're talking about away from everything. It's just, that's definitely one of my favorite places. Another one that I've only done one time was probably Shoal Creek in Iron City, Tennessee. That's just across the state line from Alabama, just a little north of Florence. And that's a beautiful creek, and again, remote, and has some fun rapids, and has some still, I say still, but some flat water. I mean, but it's a beautiful, fun float. I did it once last year. You know, want to go back and do it again this year. Was within like an hour and a half of my house. Obviously I have this place here. Then in Huntsville you got the Flint River, you got Paint Rock River. Florence you got Cypress Creek. Then you got Big Wheels Creek down in Natala, Locust Fork. All of these places are, you know, like an hour and a half. Matter of fact, tomorrow I'm going to do the Sipsey Fork below Smith Dam, near do the Riverside Fly Shop trip. So that's an hour from the house. So, you know, with so many places to go, it's hard to have a favorite. But those, I love all those places, and I love that they're close by. To me, and I'll say this is probably what makes a place, you know, appealing to me and puts it high on my list, is a couple things. Obviously, just the natural beauty that you get to see. I mean, that's one of the main reasons that I do this, is being out in nature and getting to see the natural beauty around. Another reason that I do this is and another factor for these creeks and rivers that I like is the remoteness. You know, I want to get away from the noise and the sounds and the buildings and houses and stuff. And yeah, most places, you know, you're not going to probably have one that you're never going to see a house. Even in Sipsey River and Bankhead, you'll see a house or two. But the Sipsey Fork River in Bremen, Alabama, that I'm doing tomorrow, that 10-mile stretch, very few houses. I mean, you're going to go miles and miles and never see a house or a bridge or anything. And that's, you know, one of the reasons I love that. So, you know, just natural beauty to enjoy and look at. Remoteness, you know, quietness, serenity, that's part of it. Rapids, you know, I mean, sometimes, yeah, last week I did Blackwater Creek, so I didn't even mention that one earlier. You know, that's an hour from the house. Did that last weekend with Frank, and I love that. Man, that's one of the funnest as far as just straight up rapids. When you catch the water just right, that creek is so much fun. I love that. But then tomorrow, again, the Sipsey Fork River, it's gonna be like this, completely flat, completely flat. Now when they're generating water at Smith Dam, you'll have some current to help you along, but tomorrow they're not going to be generating. It's going to be flat, no current, that's it. But that's okay, because it's calm, it's relaxing, you know, and it's just, and I love that. So that's one reason it's hard for me to pick out a favorite, because there's so many things I like, you know. And even I say, you know, maybe it's the beauty and the natural beauty that I like, that still makes it tough too, because sometimes, like around here, it's the cattails and the lily pads, you know, that's so beautiful that I enjoy. I might go to another creek, you know, and it might be rock bluffs along the way. You know, Buffalo River has those, Locust Fork has those, Sipsey River has those. So big rock bluffs and the outcroppings along the way can be pretty. Sometimes it's just the thick trees and a canopy hanging over the river, like Paint Rock River. Absolutely beautiful in the summertime. You want to go in the summertime, that thing's almost completely shaded. You're not going to get hot because you're in the shade the whole time. Beautiful river. Flint River, in Huntsville, again, is just a good combination of shade and current, some still water, big wheels, same thing. So, you know, so many things go into, you know, what I like, you know, in a body of water and in a trip. That's why it makes it so hard for me to have just one favorite, and I really don't, because I can get just as excited about any one trip over the others. Yeah, there's a few that are special, but I love them all for different reasons. Each one has its own thing that's fun, that's enjoyable, and that's just, I mean, that's one reason I do this so much, because it never gets old. There's always something new to see, always a different kind of scenery or different kind of fun or excitement. I love it, you know, and I love uh, what each little creek and river and body of water has to offer, and that's part of what makes it so fun for me. So that's my favorite water trails. Uh, I hope y'all have enjoyed that. Hope you weren't disappointed that I didn't have just a single top one, but they are a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed my video. Um, so as I close out, I have two nominations I'm going to do. John McNair. John and I have done several trips together, and he's done a lot of trips obviously without me. So John, let's hear about your favorite paddle trail. And I'm also going to nominate my brother, Dave, Alabama Floats. Dave, tell us about your favorite, maybe fishing spots, since you do more fishing than paddling, but still, you're on the water, you've been a lot of different places. Tell us about your favorites. All right, y'all, hope y'all have enjoyed my favorites, and we'll see y'all out there. Be safe.